sponsored by RaceSimCentral.com, the home of sim racing news and forums since the year 2000.
So, one of the most exciting things that happened during Gamescom was in fact the interview with Kazunori Yamauchi. Many thanks to our contact over at Sony, Alex Armour. He was a great help in getting us hooked up with Kazunori and making this all happen. And it was really, Kazunori had little time at hand, so we weren't sure if the interview would happen at all. Then Alex said it might happen on Thursday, not on Wednesday, and then he said he could move up to Wednesday, maybe 2-ish. And then we got an email saying, well, how about 1:15, and can you hurry up back to the hotel? And so we did, and then he said, oh good, because they're waiting for you, and let's do it ASAP. And it was really hectic. Unfortunately, Kazunori wasn't really in the mood to have a video taken, I guess. That's understandable, considering all the stress that he is under while he is in here in Germany. So we just had the interview like that, and Mark took lots of pictures of that. And yeah, so we're just going to recap our little interview. What was your impression of Kazunori to start off?
Oh, well, he still seemed a little nervous. I don't think he has much to be nervous about based on the presentation, but he had done 4 presentations already that morning. I imagine he was probably quite tired and quite enjoyed some lunch at that point when we came barging in. But he was very happy to do the interview. They did say we had maybe 3 or 4 minutes. In the end, we got just about 10 minutes with him. And he answered all the questions in good humour and with good grace.
Yeah, absolutely. And we started off with the question about the trophies. It was said that apparently there's going to be 2 platinum trophies in the game and not just 1. And we wanted to know what's up with that.
Yeah, it was a rumour that had been doing the rounds on GT Planet as well. There would be multiple platinum trophies for Gran Turismo. We didn't think it was particularly likely. Trophies have had to be included in all new PlayStation games for a couple of years now. And they all have 1 platinum trophy for getting all the other trophies in the game. So we didn't think it was particularly likely. But we still wanted to ask him what the plans were for trophies in the game anyway. As it turned out, he didn't actually have any plans for trophies in the game at this point. Probably not terribly surprising. Gran Turismo has worked on a trophy system for years, since 1997 when it first came out. The PlayStation Network trophies system is probably something that can just be grafted on top of the existing format. So it's not much of a surprise that they don't have anything specific planned for, say, driving the Nürburgring in a Fiat 500F.
Yeah, actually, Mark and myself, we were joking about that. Probably we've pointed out a weak spot in GT5's releasing plan, and Kazunori would now go back to Japan and saying, hey, we forgot something, and then that would push back the release date of the game, and everybody on this planet would hate us for pointing out to Kazunori that trophies are missing.
You asked the question, so it would be you they hate.
Well, thank you. Thanks for pointing that out. Great, okay. Yes, then we've talked about the LAN modes, the local area network modes, because that is particularly close to your heart, I understand?
Yes, we've been running a local area network Gran Turismo 3 and 4 parties for getting on for 7 years now in the UK. We've had visitors from all over the world come to various cold and dank parts of England to come and play Gran Turismo with us in garages and warehouses. One of our friends from the UK lives out in San Francisco. He's taken the idea out to San Francisco. They've done 5 or 6 now, one every 6 months. So we find LAN particularly close to our hearts. And also, LAN mode permits multiple monitor support. So if there was no LAN mode, you wouldn't be able to have a 3 monitor support. So we thought it was important to find that out there were very many people concerned about multiple monitors.
And his answer to that was?
Probably.
Right. He didn't really go into detail into that. He didn't really want to disclose that.
From what I understand of the Japanese, he said it was probably erring on the side of likely that LAN mode would be included rather than maybe. So, probably.
Okay. Then next on was light and weather changes, if that's going to be included in all the tracks.
I mean, we haven't seen any evidence of weather at any of the demos we've played, but we have seen the lighting changes at the Rally Toscana. So it has been natural curiosity from everybody to wonder if there was variable daytime and weather on all tracks. Some people did bring up concerns that maybe it might snow at Daytona, which is physically impossible. But it was worth finding out whether it would happen at all tracks or not. And the answer was not all, but some.
Right. So again, a little bit vague. He didn't really want to disclose that information there. Then there was this question, since he wants to build the ultimate real driving simulator, how close he would feel he is with achieving this goal with GT5.
Yeah, he seems, as he rightly should be, very happy with Gran Turismo 5. But obviously, there are features that he would like to include, but doesn't have the hardware or software to do it yet. And I suppose if you have a finished product that can't be improved upon, there wouldn't be a GT6.
Right. So he mentioned he's roughly 85 to 90% happy with how GT5 turned out in terms of achieving the goal of Ultimate Drive Simulator.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing it for 12, 13 years, and the progress is remarkable. I mean, anyone who's gone back and played Gran Turismo 1 or 2 recently, we were in awe of them when we were playing them originally, and they're still excellent games, but time has aged them slightly, and he could probably be working at this for another 25 years and not reach his goal. But he will do it. He will carry on working at it.
Absolutely. Then we had a very quick question and a quick answer. Library editor, will it be included?
Will it be included? Probably not.
Right, probably not. That was a quick one. We asked him that earlier he said that weather and damage will only be included if it would make sense in a driving situation, if it would enhance the driving experience. Now they are included. So the question was it because he was thinking it really does improve the driving experience, or if it was more the pressure from outside and communities just like GT Planet that would look at early demos and would say, okay, this does not look as good as what we would expect?
Yeah, I mean, there was some initial backlash on GT Planet and many other Gran Turismo sites with regards to the very first damage build. I think Kazunori's answer was it's fair to say that it's pretty much a 50-50 balance as to whether something gets implemented because he thinks it will improve the game, as opposed to something gets implemented because the Gran Turismo community thinks that something will improve the game.
Right.
There's a parallel to be drawn here with any product development. I speak from the automotive industry. The consumer really doesn't know what they want until it gets put in front of their face. And to a certain extent that must be the case with the next Gran Turismo. We don't know how great it's going to be until it arrives, because Kazunori is having ideas that are 2 levels above what I mean, we're great enthusiasts, but he thinks on a different plane in some circumstances. So you've got to think there's always going to be something special in the next Gran Turismo. We're not quite expecting, so. Absolutely.
So great things we can expect for GT6 and for GT5. We haven't really have that in our hands yet. So, and not all of it has been disclosed. So we still expect great stuff. For example, when he was talking about the new cars, especially the old ones, the classic ones, he was going into great detail about the history of the cars, and we asked them if that information will be included in the game as well.
Yeah, he said that very many of the Polyphony Digital team are working on very verbose textual descriptions of each of the cars. And and this obviously would take quite a lot of time. It's a car enthusiast's delight. I mean, if you find a car in Gran Turismo that you've never heard of before, they will tell you all about it.
Right. Sean called it a gigantic car museum when they came back from E3, and I suppose he's right. I mean, there's lots of cars you've never heard of, or almost never heard of, and you get all the information, not only the car and driving it pretty much in real, and you mentioned it that you can have what-if races, so it's going to be fantastic for any car enthusiast.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that Gran Turismo has always had since the very first one. It was interesting to read those very slightly oddly translated passages about cars that we in the UK had never seen. Mitsubishi FTO was a very rare sight. A Mazda Demio, what the hell's that? You know, we just didn't know. And it was nice to read a few things about these, what is now known as JDM to us, cars. So the fact that that is being continued, Gran Turismo is not only a driving simulator, it is that role-playing game, it is that encyclopedia of cars developed by guys who are obviously total petrol heads, and that's another thing that we love about Gran Turismo, so you know, it's nice to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And closing of this interview, of course we had this question coming from the users of GT Planet.
Yes, when we found out that we were coming here, obviously we invited questions from the GT Planet users. We tried to compile as many as we possibly could, but obviously we only had 10 minutes with Kazunori. We wanted to get some of the technical questions that hadn't been resolved out of the way. So we were left with what I thought was the best non-technical question remaining, and that was, with the time and resources available to him, what track from the fantasy world of Gran Turismo Kazunori would build in the real world.
And his answer to that was?
Well, he gave it some considerable thought.
Yeah, he thought about that long and hard.
Oh yeah, his eventual answer was Deep Forest. I think he's wrong. I think Trial Mountain is better. But one of the difficulties that he was having to think through was that not all of the fantasy tracks in GT5 have been released yet. Obviously, he couldn't tell us a track that we don't know about.
I mean, he could have told us. I mean, it would have been fine with us, right?
Yeah, I would have been fine with that, although we would have probably gone, what?
Right.
He did go on to point out that a Japanese construction company called Maida had actually investigated the possibility of constructing a real-life Grand Valley. They'd gone through all the costings. He said lots of things about environmental concerns and recycling and what it would take to build that track anywhere. He didn't actually give a numerical value as how much it would cost to do, but he did tell us that they'd written a book about it. We're going to try do our best to find out what that book is.
Yes, absolutely. We want to get our hands on that book. So yeah, very good question in my opinion, because he gave it some real thought, and it was obviously something that he doesn't get asked all the time. So yeah, I think he enjoyed that question.
That was a great one. We're going to have to give some free GT Planet Premium membership to the person that thought that one up.
Absolutely. Now, Mark, while we were busy asking all those questions, and that was pretty much it. Because unfortunately, you know, that one Sony representative had to cut us off because of the tight schedule of Kazunori. Said we only had to 2 questions left, and I think we sneaked in 3, so we even overexpanded that. So we were really fortunate to get those questions and answers in. Unfortunately, we had to stop there, but you took a lot of pictures, right?
I took a few pictures, yeah, just to get a record of the scene. It was nice to just see you guys. We actually went outside here at the hotel, and we went out and sat on the wicker chairs there, and the interview was conducted in a really pleasant setting, and it's just nice to get a few shots of it for posterity. And it was also a chance just to observe how everyone was talking and how Kazunori was. I think he was obviously more relaxed in our interview than he was in the presentation. I think I mean, we certainly think it went well. He said what he needed to say, and everyone seemed happy, and so that went well. But yeah, it was good to see him, and of course his very valued companion, Translator-san.
Absolutely, yes. Kazunori doesn't go anywhere without his translator, and he was present there as well, translating. And of course, we were lucky enough to actually get to talk to him as well. And I tried to get his name and said I have to get his name, and his answer was,
no, you don't. Translator-san is just fine.
Absolutely, Translator-san wants to be known as Translator-san, and that's just gotta be it, right?
Yep, we're happy with that.
Yeah, it was really, but it was funny. I mean, he's a very nice guy. He's open and he knows about his celebrity. I think he kind of enjoys it, and he likes to be this kind of mysterious guy in the background.
This enigmatic character. I think I'd be happy with leaving it as that. I don't want to know his name. I just want to know him as Translator-san. He's a great guy. He was really quite funny. He was funny.
Absolutely. So we're just going to leave it at Translator-san. All right. And so that concludes our recap of this interview. Again, we're very thankful to Sony for giving us the opportunity. And we all hope that Kazunori Yamauchi enjoyed it as much as we did.